Alright, so we skipped a day because yeah, because we don't really have that much time for this video, and if you want to see everything, you can download the game, or you probably already did if you watched this.
This suits very well. Time passed so quickly.
Yeah, even quicker than usual.
Okay. This is also the first time you see Teal's work uniform in action. It's not in the version that's currently online, but it's then included in the update that's coming with the second part of the game. Yeah, you'll see why it's so purple in the next scene. Another thing is, the bookstore has this sign on the left, that pink sign, and that's a quote from an author. And every day Teal visits the bookstore, the quote is different, because like I thought Mrs. Carthover would change the quote every morning for the visitors to like encourage people to read books. But you can also visit the gallery to look at these quotes later.
Although you'll only see the ones that you unlocked, so you have to see a background first before it appears in the gallery.
Yes. And everything is so purple. Because Miss Carthover's main color is purple, and I was thinking that every character had some kind of main color. Like Teal's color is teal, and Zen's color would be some kind of orange, I was thinking. Yeah, no, everything fits well with Teal's new work uniform. Let's tell her the truth.
Which also reveals that she's a fairly caring boss.
Yeah, kind of like family, right?
Yeah. So she's probably the type who treats people she knows well and like family.
Oh yeah, reminds me. Did I say it already that like the names of the characters?
No, not this time.
Not this time. Well, sorry. We were thinking that we'd like to have the characters have names that are telling right away, so that added to the introduction of the character, like you only read the name and already kind of understood what kind of person they would be. Even though it's a little hidden in the name, our inspiration came from like the characters from the Ace Attorney games, and well, Teal is color, and snow is like snow. It's quiet when it's snowing, and it's white and it's cold. And snow is kind of like cold if you don't know them too well. And teal is a secondary color. It's not a clear color. It's like a mixture of things, and that's Teal, like a bit unsure where to go.
Whether to be green or blue.
Yeah. And even Miss Carhover's name is something. I don't think that anyone found it yet, at least not on social media.
Yeah, so her name is kind of fun. You just have to swap some letters and it makes sense with what she does. Yeah, so most of the time there's an answer that you can pick when you recommend a book that gives you some points for your performance, although none of them are directly wrong. This customer is an exception because she'll like everything you pick.
Yeah, Miss Pendergast is an old friend, so I'll go with this one.
So now is one of the major points in the game. And we get to see what choice we get.
What kind of choice do we have?
None, apparently. So far.
Not a choice. Or a choice. Two choices. One choice. This name was not chosen to be used for puns. Not at all. Yay, we've got feminine choice.
Which means we can't talk about shirtless choice, but
Well, haha, with a male, masculine looking choice. I was thinking that, well, AIs don't really have to wear clothes, right? Because they don't really feel temperature inside the screen, and there's actually really no need to wear any clothes at all. But that we can't have them be like human like and naked, so they do wear something. But both of them, masculine and feminine choice, don't wear a shirt. Not really. It's just the pink thing is just like skin colorings. So now you know. She's just wearing an apron. And that's okay. Right, it's okay.
I mean, now it's that way anyway, so...
Yeah, it's like... It's not explicit. I don't think that it's explicit. It just had some intentions. But I like choice design very much, and choice design is a combination of what we thought that Teal would like the AI to be. And what Beltec would design for Teal with the mix of white and blue, that's the Beltec brand colors, and the pinkish and the anime influences, that's more like Teal's thing. I mean, maybe Teal likes butlers and maids too.
Probably. So this story, you can either listen to the whole thing or just the short version. And essentially it's there to try and ground these AIs in the reality. So we try to make everything as believable as possible, so that this world feels real, and choice is kind of a fantastical element in all of this. So we try to still give them a story that makes it seem believable that they exist.
Yes, it's also the point where you really know, I think, that Teal is depressed to some extent, not really, not the baddest way depression can be, but the kind of way we thought was how to say, relatable for us as the creators as well, and that make sense in the world, setting, and story.
So, for example, you can't really say no to this question whether Teal feels depressed often or not, but you can be direct about it or indirect.
But even so, even if the player, like, if you can't relate to this at all, they're not with this last choice, but with other choices. You can choose to be like the Teal you like to be.
So even if Teal is basically a defined character, you still get some choices to decide what kind of Teal they end up as. And at this part, Teal is, well, a little defensive and tries to stay away from this program as far as they can while still taking part.
I mean, I wouldn't trust Beltec as well. Like, suddenly an eye appears on my screen that looks like, in that world, Choice does look pretty realistic to Teal. And Choice has elements in the design that Teal actually likes. And Choice even replies and reacts to the things that Teal needs. So I think it would be quite a shock if something so fantastic suddenly appeared. and tries to help you.
And also knows exactly how you're feeling in a way that can put it into data.
Yeah. Initially, we planned to integrate that even further into the gameplay to make the storytelling more exciting.
Yeah, so some ideas were, for example, to have some choices only be available if you feel a certain way, or have other characters respond to you differently depending on how you're feeling. But the scope of the game already was enough for us, so that didn't quite make it into the game in the end.
It will only happen occasionally.
During the very first version released right after the game jam, it did only happen very occasionally because at some point I kind of forgot to include it. But after some updates we added some more points where the emotions actually appear. I think there's still some that aren't used though, because every emotion that appears has both a negative and a positive state, but there weren't really situations where both were used. At least not for every emotion.
Yeah. Or the lack of thereof. I mean, somewhere it's kind of a tease, right? If the AIs don't wear that much clothing, and you can't really choice isn't physical, so romancing choice could be kind of difficult.
Like a long-term relationship inside your room.
Yes.
Long distance, not long-term. Maybe that too at some point.
I mean, a choice doesn't age, right?
No, so it could be, well...
Well, that's weird. Oh, now that I'm thinking about that. Choice could change their appearance?
They could probably age if they want to, but maybe to make Teal feel better. So that was one of the first choices where you basically have to decide between money and spending time with someone. So it's basically just to make you think a bit about what's more important to you at the moment, and I think a lot of people choose the money because that seems pretty urgent.
Yeah, even though you can't... Well, you can lose in some way in this game, but the story, things will turn out somehow where it's okay for Teal.
So there's no super bad ending, but there are endings that aren't ideal either.
Okay, so we just skipped a part where we get to know Joyce a little better. Yeah.
Now, after talking about Joyce, they start talking a bit about Teal and what Teal actually wants from life.
we also thought that it would be interesting to take this gloomy character, Teal, and like make Teal work with their thoughts and on what they would like to become and how choice what choice position is in all of this. Not just that choice would be there and align everything that's coming towards Teal in a way that Teal's life would automatically become better, but really get to know Teal and help them from inside, like inside Teal's mind.
So basically help Teal to achieve these things and not just achieve them for them. This is another point where Teal comes across as fairly undecided. Because, well, art is important, but not the most important thing. But, it also seemed realistic to have a character who has more values than just one thing.
Most often in a story you have a protagonist who's very sure about what they want to do with their life. And Teal is not that kind of protagonist. And we wanted to like experiment with that too, like how do we get this? How do we get Teal? This unsure young adult to reach their goals with them putting effort into it. And Teal is also in a phase of life which is relatable to us as like young adults. Teenagers would, I think, relate to this too, or it doesn't really matter actually what age, but to us it was these topics Teal has to deal with were very close. I mean, being an artist is cool, but if it doesn't pay, then what do? Like, you have to pay your rent somehow. That's just a fact. And then you have to decide if you like do that because it's practical or do the other thing because you love it.
This is also a point where Teal isn't really only there to receive help, but Teal enjoys to just have different perspectives and see things differently. So there's also moments where Teal's perspective kind of something that Joyce didn't think of, simply because well, Joyce was created with a very specific goal, and So sometimes they also kind of have this tunnel vision where they don't always see things like they maybe really are, but yeah, so that's something where we try to give Teal a bit more experience as well, so they're not always the ones who need help.
Should we play video games or watch a series?
Well, we already played video games, we could go back to them, but
Let's watch a series. Yeah. It's more like Teal needed a friend to visit them and say, hey, I think things are like this. What do you think? But Teal is such a lonely person somehow.
also I think a lot of Teal's friends are also like Teal, so they wouldn't just barge in and say, okay, you need this now.
Right, like Snow.